Hey Brampton, are you feeling the shift? In the month of April, we've seen some significant changes in the real estate market. And if you have been paying attention since January, some of these charts are going to be very shocking to you. So stay tuned throughout this video as we break down what's happening in the Brampton housing market and what the outlook looks like for the next few months here as we await the Bank of Canada hopefully lowering those rates. Today, we're going to break down everything, the prices, the trends, and where I see some opportunity happening in the market. With a massive 41% increase of listings last month in the month of April, Brampton is starting to see a shift in the market. If you're paying attention back in February, you saw things were skyrocketing. You saw bidding wars hitting the market with every single listing, but I think we are headed for a different market 2 months later. My name is Mike Carpino. If you're interested in discussing real estate with me, click the first link in the description. I help people like you from YouTube every single week make their transition from their first home to their next property. And if that sounds like something I could help you with, feel free, don't hesitate. My contact information is also in the description box down below. Now, let's take a look at what happened last month. Now, let's start off with just some of the big numbers here. We are seeing a 5.7% decrease in the average price for a Brampton home. Average price, as we know, can be anything from a condo all the way to a detached property. It's a wide range, but it's down 5.7% year over year if we're looking at last year's numbers, comparing them to this year. First thing I want to break down for you guys here is the detached home market. So the detached home market, the average price here was $1,208,000. This is a decrease of 4.2%, but it's a slight increase of almost 1% compared to the March numbers. The semi-detached homes, the average price was at $956 for a semi-detached home. This is a 6.1% decrease over last year. Freehold townhouses averaged $903,000, and that is also down 4.3% from last year. Let's take a look. Condo townhouses, $710,000 was your average condo townhouse. From just March alone, where it was $736,000, you're down about $26,000 month over month on an average condo townhouse. And condo apartments, they saw a pretty significant decrease, averaging $576 last month, down to $536. Obviously in Brampton, this can fluctuate because there's not a ton of condos. So there are some things to consider here with the amount of sales happening month over month. But we've seen a $35,000 decrease in the actual condos month over month as well. Now that you have the numbers for all the housing categories, what I want to do is I'm going to show you some charts on my side here that are just going to give you an idea of what's happening in the markets. Now, the first chart I want to show you guys is just the sales that have happened. All these charts you're going to see are from 2024, so January until the end of April 2024. I'm not extending them into the 2023 era because I just want to show you what's happening this year. So if you're looking at this chart here, you can see this line is very, very steady until March hits, and then we're seeing it flatten out. So we've seen a flattening of the sales actually start to happen. So we were seeing about 250 to 260 sales happen a month. So when you see this flattening here, the concerning thing is, where are we going to be moving forward? Generally, spring is a time where people start to see more sales happen. We start to see more inventory hit the market, and then the sales also line up with that. But we actually haven't seen a spring market yet, and we are sitting here in the beginning of May already. The next thing I want to show you guys is very concerning to me. It's the active listings chart. So as you'll see here, we were pretty low on inventory, which is why, especially in February, you can see that inventory was very low on active listings. And that's why we saw a lot of bidding wars happen January, February. And we had that pent up expectation that maybe we would see a rate decrease, maybe the market would hit a spike in spring, but look at what's happened between March and April here. It's amazing. Look at this massive spike that you've seen in active listings. And active listings means these homes are not selling. So between March and April, look at that insane spike here. This is not something that's common for spring. Usually we see the spring market come out hot. You get a lot of buyers who are excited to buy. This chart is showing me that buyers are not yet pulling that trigger, and they're actually not pulling the trigger even as much as they were back in February. Next chart I want you guys to look at is the months of inventory trend. So you can see starting our year in January, we were, up a little bit. We had 2.5 months of inventory. Then we dropped down in February where we saw those bidding wars. And now we've seen that steady increase again. So we're building up months of inventory, which means is if you're a buyer and there's more and more inventory, it means you have more choice. You have more flexibility. You have more negotiating power if you are a buyer when the inventory is up. And then the last chart I want to show you guys here on the detached side of things is the average sale price. So you can see February we peaked so far, obviously 4 months in, but we have that peak hitting in February, and then from there we've kind of taken a step back in average price. Now when we say we've fallen off, we're not talking a massive decrease, right? So 1.2 and change, and then we're dropping down to 1.2. It's just some trends I want you guys to keep in mind, and this is specifically geared towards the detached homes. So let's take a look at the other housing sectors and see if we see common themes happening here. The next one you're going to look at is the months of inventory in the townhouses. So yeah, as you can see, Jan, Feb, same thing. We saw a spike up. I think there's a lot of sellers that anticipated that market getting hot in spring, and we did not see it. Average sale price, we're seeing a slight dip in townhouses, just like we did in the detached. And then active listings, the same thing is happening. So not only detached, now we have townhouses with that same spike in inventory. And then the amount of sales that are happening, we've definitely seen it fall back as well, right? So we've seen it fluctuate from January, dropping down, not having a lot of sales, having a ton of sales in March. These are based on closings as well. And then we're seeing things slow down. Now, condo townhouse, same trend, average price starting to dip off, sales starting to dip off, active listings starting to really climb from where they were in January. And the months of inventory here also spiking. Now, we're not going to cover the condos. There's very limited inventory there, so we don't need to see the charts. We know exactly what's happened based on the average sale price dropping from 574 to 536. What all of this means to me is we were expecting a spring market in April. We did not get the spring market in April. Sellers were ready to put their houses on the market. They did in all fashions. Condo town, freehold town, semis, and detached. We saw spikes. Every chart looks exactly the same. Inventory spiked, sales dipped. What I think is happening is buyers are waiting for that rate reduction, as we know, but they thought we were going to get it a lot sooner on the selling side, or at least the sellers were hoping that the spring market would bring out some more activity of people looking to jump the gun and beat the Bank of Canada to that rate reduction, maybe beating some of those buyers in the market. But what we're seeing is the complete opposite. Sellers are not getting the result that they look for, and buyers are not trying to jump the gun. They are sitting on their hands, at least that's what I'm looking at here in Brampton, and they're not pulling the trigger. So if you are a buyer in Brampton right now, could be your opportunity with the pent up inventory, with maybe some sellers needing to sell, not just wanting to sell, but needing to sell. If you're able to find that seller or those sellers that need to move, maybe they've got a pre-construction project that's going to close and they need to sell their home, that's your target if you're a buyer. If you're a buyer, you also need to understand that maybe this trend continues because generally June, July, and August are slower. So if this trend continues and we keep seeing more and more and more inventory, you're going to see sellers that need to sell race to the bottom. Who can lower their price the most to get their home sold the fastest? So you might have even more opportunities coming up in the next month or two. If you're a seller, your strategy has completely changed here. The bidding war strategy may still work depending on how low you price your home, but you're probably not getting as many offers as you would have hoped because the market is just not active like you would have hoped. You might get a few offers, you just may not get that massive price that you were hoping for. So it's more important than ever to have your home marketed properly by whoever's representing you, making sure that there is more going into it than just throwing your home on MLS and taking some cell phone pictures. You want some proper media done. You want some paid advertising done. You want some YouTube content done. You want to make sure that it's staged. You want to make sure that it's advertised on other channels like select local groups like your marketplace, like your internal databases that the agents have. You need to make sure it's tackled on every front because you're looking for a buyer who's ready to take action now. You're not willing to wait that longer period of time to get a sale done if you need to sell your home. Let me know what you think is going to happen in the next couple months in Brampton or in the GTA real estate market in particular. These trends, I'm curious myself to see if they continue over the month of May. I think they will because we don't have that announcement from the Bank of Canada until June. If you think I'm wrong here, I'd love it if you commented in the comment section down below as well. Let me know where I went wrong in my analysis if you think I'm off, and we can have that discussion in the comment section. And if you want my help in Brampton to make sure that your home is marketed correctly to get it sold in the more difficult market, don't forget my contact information is down below, or you can click that first link in the description and book a one-on-one consultation call with me so we can make sure that your home gets exposed like it needs to in this market. Thanks so much for watching this April 2024 market update. My name is Carpino, and I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.